Hello, Wayland Middle School. Mr. Farley here to show you how to rewrite a linear equation into slope-intercept form. So one thing that is super important, kids, is recognizing, again, slope-intercept form is always in the form y equals mx plus b. Okay, we can tell from this example right here, 2y is equal to 4x minus 6. The goal here is to get the y by itself. We need y alone in order to have slope-intercept form. So here we have y being multiplied by 2, so we can take care of that by dividing both sides by 2. And if you do that, we end up with y is equal. This division by 2 goes to both of these terms, so please be careful. 4 divided by 2 is 2, so I get my 2x. 6 divided by 2 is 3, and it's a minus sign, so we would say minus 3. Congratulations, you just wrote this equation. You rewrote this original linear equation in slope-intercept form. You can see y is by itself, and that's exactly what we needed it to be in order to have slope-intercept form. Once it's in this form, you should have no problem at all finding the slope. We know that it's 2. You should have no problem finding the y-intercept, which is -3. Right here, this is the b. The slope of 2 is the m. We know that. And now let's just graph it to make sure we have it. Everyone knows you start with the y-intercept of -3, so you would plot a point right here at -3. The slope of 2 tells me to rise 2 and run 1 from this point. So we go up 2 over 1. I do that a few times, up 2 over 1, up 2 over 1, and draw a nice line connecting these, and ta-da, there you go. Put some arrows on it, and that, oops, sorry about that. Put some arrows on it to show that it goes on forever. And you just rewrote this equation in slope-intercept form, and once you had it in slope-intercept form, you were able to simply answer the slope and the y-intercept, and then you could graph it. So that is a very important skill. What I would do right now is pause the video, and I would make sure that you have this written down in your notes, okay? And please have this first one completed. All right, so after the pause there, let's continue with the second example. Now that you started the video again, let's now rewrite 3x plus 4y equals 12 in slope-intercept form. Again, kids, you really need to be eyeballing this part here. We want to get the y by itself. Really important. I think if we look right here, you will see that 3x is tied up with this term of 4y through addition. So we can move this 3x to the other side away from the y because I'm trying to get the y by itself. That's the ultimate goal here. We know 3x minus 3x is 0. I'm left with 4y is equal to, and I'm going to rewrite the right side of this equal sign just as I see it over here. I see a minus 3x, so I'm going to write minus 3x, and a positive 12. So I just moved this 3x from the left side to the right side. This is starting to look more like slope-intercept form, but we know the y must be by itself. It's being multiplied by 4, so I need to undo that by showing division by 4. And this is done on both sides. Make sure both of these terms get the division by 4. So I'm left with y is equal to -3 over 4. 4 does not go into -3 evenly, so just leave it as a fraction, -3/4 x, and 12 divided by 4 is 3, and you did it. This is how you write this example in slope-intercept form. So I'm going to ask you in just a moment to pause this video. Could you please identify the slope, identify the y-intercept, graph it over here on this graph? You can do that on your own. And after pausing, I will resume the video. All right, welcome back for example number 3 here. This one is very similar to the last problem that we did. You should have not too much difficulty with this. Remember, again, we are trying to get this y by itself. Really important. Again, it's tied up with the 2x. The 2x is positive, so I'm going to move it to the other side. Minus 2x, minus 2x. I'll do that, and I'm left with a negative 3y is equal to, and we rewrite it as we see it, minus 2x plus 6. Very nice. The y has to be alone for slope-intercept form. So if it's being multiplied by negative 3, we are going to divide both sides by negative 3. And just like the previous examples, this division of negative 3 goes to both terms. So I'm left y by itself. Negative 2 divided by negative 3, it does not go in evenly, but we do know a negative divided by a negative is a positive. So I'm left with 2/3 x, and 6 divided by negative 3, that goes in evenly, negative 2. So once again, I have slope-intercept form. Okay. Once the y is by itself, we have slope-intercept form. You should easily be able to find the slope. You should easily be able to find the y-intercept. And once you have those pieces, you should be able to graph this line over here on the coordinate plane. Just like the other times, this is a good opportunity to pause. Please copy down these notes. Make sure you are up to date with them. Find the slope, find the y-intercept, and graph it. You may pause your video now. All right, and here comes the last video, last one, or the last example. This one looks a little more complicated. Don't worry about it, all right? Definitely don't freak out. One thing we can do, and I probably think most kids have their eyes set on this 2 with parentheses and are thinking about the distributive property. Go for it. Distribute that 2 right through. Negative 6x plus 4y is equal to negative 16. Now, this is really, it's not any different than the problems we did previously. We again are trying to get this y by itself. It's tied up with a negative 6x, so add 6x to both sides. I'm left with a 4y is equal to positive 6x minus 16. It is almost in slope-intercept form. The y is being multiplied by 4, so to undo that, I divide both sides by 4. And just like every other example, the division by 4 goes to both terms. Don't forget. All right, I'm running out of room here, but the y is now by itself. 6 divided by 4. 4 does not go into 6 evenly, so you can write it as a fraction, which is 6 over 4x. And negative 16 divided by 4 is negative 4. The only thing I advise right here is to put this fraction of 6/4 in lowest terms. So I think the best slope-intercept form answer you could write is 3/2 x minus 4. So finally, I would like you to pause the video in just a moment. Would like you to copy down these notes. Again, find the slope, find the y-intercept, and graph the equation of the line right over here on the right-hand side. So kids, you now have 4 examples here of how to rewrite a linear equation in slope-intercept form, y equals mx plus b form. It is so helpful to us. The first one was done in completion. You guys should be doing the other ones on your own, and then you will notice there are more to follow on this page. So keep it going, and if you need to reference this video again, please go back to it. But thanks very much for listening. Hope you enjoyed the video. Take care.